Prashant, welcome to the show. You're an alum of IIT Delhi, Stanford Business School, and a king cobra of the Indian healthcare sector. But take us back, if you like. A number of years ago, before all this started, you were working at McKinsey. Good consulting job, family happy, I'm sure. But tell me, was your foray into healthcare a brainwave or just part of a process?
It was part of a process. I think the seed of entrepreneurship actually was, it started when I went to Stanford and saw the Silicon Valley and the entire spirit of entrepreneurship. I think that was very, very inspiring. And then I was working with McKinsey in the US, looking at the healthcare sector out there. And that's when I saw that, okay, there's a very interesting differences between the healthcare delivery systems in India and the US. And I saw the individual components of healthcare are so sophisticated out there. Although put together, I still don't believe it works as a system. But all the components had reached a level of sophistication that was very, very interesting to me. Thinking about how India will evolve and how the health access in India will change with technology, with digitization, that seed was germinating in my mind at that point. And we thought technology and sophisticated supply chains have to come to the healthcare sector in India. This sector has to evolve into a much more patient-centric, technology-enabled, data-driven sector. And rather than becoming from an art, it has to become a process and a science.
Okay, so that's part of the mechanics of it. And of course, you're a trained chemical engineer. But at that point, Prashant, were you thinking about brand personality?
One thing was very clear from the get-go. The brand, that whatever we build has to be built on trust. That is the currency which works in healthcare. And if we can make sure that we build a patient-centric healthcare ecosystem, and that was a very, very big leap, because when we came with what seemed like a very basic concept today, when we said we are coming with a patient-centric healthcare model, everyone felt we were just being naive. We don't know how healthcare works. Healthcare is never supposed to be patient-centric. It's always the provider-centric or an insurance-centric, and that's how it's in most parts of the world. And you know what? We felt that that exactly is the problem. We don't build it for the patients, and if we can build a model, put the patient at the center, be the partner of that patient and win their trust, that would be the model for the future.
Okay, so patient-centric lifestyle healthcare, I've got that right. Just unpack that a bit for us, Prashant, and particularly in terms of how the brand works and how the whole thing ends up in a brand personality that people trust.
So see, patient centricity, when we talk, it just comes down to everything is built around the patient to serve that patient. And once that is clear to you, and your entire organization has to then work to deliver that promise in pretty much every little thing we do. So trust is not just a marketing campaign, it has to be every single interaction.
So a good example, if you will, Prashant, of every single thing communicates the brand?
Absolutely. It's at the end of the day what the consumer feels about your brand.
Okay, so that's a little bit about consumers, but you have multiple stakeholders, including, of course, the regulator. Talk to us a bit about how you've built the 1MG brand to create regulatory trust.
I think in a sector like healthcare, regulation is a core part of the ecosystem, and it's a multi-stakeholder ecosystem. So you're right, it's not just the consumer. All stakeholders have to trust what you're doing is right. What we have been doing as our part is engaging from very early on with the regulators, understanding what are their thought processes, where they would like to see the industry go, how we are contributing to that, how this entire journey is actually enhancing compliance and not the other way. And I think that has really helped, because the government wants to listen. And when they hear the ideas that people with the positive intent are trying to make the system better, then they find areas where we come on common ground.
In a word, are you winning with the regulator?
I think it's an ongoing engagement, and it'll continue. And that's the nature of innovation and regulation. Regulation and innovation have to go hand in hand. It's never a victory for one or the other. It's a continued relationship.
Very true. It's not over in the 12th round. There are endless rounds. Prashant, that's fantastic. Last personal question. You're a good sportsman. Any time for sport these days?
I love to play when I can, and yes, I do find enough time. I go swimming. I've started playing a little bit of tennis, a little bit of badminton. So, and we have got a table tennis table in our office. So I think I'm doing okay.
Well, you're looking good, and the brand's looking even better. Prashant, thank you so much. Fantastic guest.
Thank you for having me.